The Montgomery County Jane Doe, 1986. This Jane Doe took place in Montgomery, Alabama, when he passed due to a vehicle accident. They believe he may have been hitchhiking into the area to look for work. And he was young. He was probably 20 to 29. And he was pretty thin for being 5'11", or 180 centimeters, at only 140 pounds, or 64 kilograms. That seems to support the idea that he was perhaps homeless and didn't have regular meals and was hitchhiking to try to obtain employment. So in 1986, if he was 20 to 29, that would mean his family is looking for someone born 1957 to 1966. His family may believe he found work elsewhere and chose not to return, when in truth there was no choice. He had shoulder-length brown hair, brown eyes, a beard, and a mustache. He was wearing a gray sweatshirt with a red shirt underneath, and brown hush-puppy type shoes. The Montgomery County Jane Doe, 1986, has gone unidentified for 38 years. The Northamptonshire Jane Doe. This case begins today in Northamptonshire, England, on the 10th of April in 2002. In this case, our Jane Doe was found passed on the side of the MM45 motorway near Byfield, Northamptonshire, England. This is one of those that will cause some people to react with sympathy, some people to say it's her own fault. For me, it's a good example of why it's important to discuss what happened and maybe why. While our Jane Doe's COD was determined to be a heart attack, it was caused by what she had ingested. I have to apologize for talking in YouTube code, but it's too close to the beginning of the video for me not to chance bleeping out what she ingested. So in this case, I will just say that it's generally a white substance portrayed on TV with a mirror and a straw. She had ingested this in pellet form, and this would lead them to conclude that she was likely a courier. It's possible she was forced to do this, but it's also possible and probably probable she was paid. Many people are desperate and do it willingly for money. Others do it for other reasons. I have no idea what happened here. Sometimes there's threats against a family. And personally for me, without knowing why this came to happen, I do have the utmost empathy for our Jane Doe. But I am absolutely cognizant of what happens with the substance had she been able to do successfully what she had tried to do. So I'm definitely not defending anything. She likely has a family out there not knowing what happened to her, likely in a country she did not perish in. And that, of course, is the main focus of this story. She was a black female, likely 50 to 60 years of age, and so she may have had grown children when she disappeared. She was 160 centimeters tall, or 5'3" for those of us in America. Her family would likely be missing a loved one born around 1942 to 1952. It's believed she entered the UK at the Birmingham airport, and they think she most likely originated from the St. Catherine area of Jamaica. Her black hair had a ginger tint to the hair that had gone gray, meaning she purposely dyed it that color. She had 2 surgical scars on her abdomen, 3 on the inside of both arms, and 2 old scars on her lower right jaw. She had a prominent mole between her nose and her upper lip. And she had definitely given birth at least once. Her clothing had a floral pattern that was predominantly orange. It was made by designer Tom Boker, and it had orange shoulder pads in a size 16. She was also wearing a black and pink layered skirt with Viva U USA /ACT/F1 on the label. Her leather moccasins were size 7 with a wedge heel. She had swallowed 10 packets of the pellets, and they believe she used the nickname of Modern Girl. If you have any idea who she may have been, please call the number on the screen. The Northamptonshire Jane Doe has so far gone unidentified for 22 years. Had she lived, she would likely be in her 70s or 80s today. Vandy Doe. The woman known as Vandy Doe, for the Vanderbilt University clothing that she was wearing, was found in Nashville, Tennessee, in the afternoon of September 8, 2018. A couple was out on a rural road a few miles northwest of Nashville. They would find a disturbing scene as they glanced off the roadway, accidentally seeing the remains of our Jane Doe today. We're not exactly sure how old she was. I tested again whether or not saying the age of a person will get my comments turned off, and it did. So I'll just say that she was as old as 25, but no younger than 10 years younger than that. She had been where she was found approximately 15 days. They state that she's likely of African American heritage and possibly has some Hispanic heritage as well. She was of average height and had curly black hair. One notable item in this case is that she was dressed head to toe in Vanderbilt University clothing. Vanderbilt is located in the same town of Nashville. She was wearing an Under Armour pullover that has Vandy stitched underneath the Vanderbilt logo. She had black geometric patterned leggings that were also the Vanderbilt logo. There's a note on this case that these are often called tailgate tights. Additionally, she had a white metal braid chain that was the brand from the heart. The brand usually has a charm from a college or professional sports team, but this necklace had the charm missing. She also had on a black hip rocker running belt with a Vanderbilt logo. These belts are usually worn by athletes or people attending the events that wanted their hands free so that it would hold their keys, money, cards, cell phone, things like that. However, she had on just the belt, and she had no phone or identification on her at all. And I've seen possible reasons for this suggested. One theory I saw on Reddit suggested the clothing may have been discarded and she was homeless, and that she had no link to Vanderbilt College. However, the odd issue of this at the time is that there were Vanderbilt activities going on all over the place that were a big deal. Beyonce and Jay-Z did a concert there at the same time around the time she was found. And there were Founders Days activities, Vanderbilt Commodore football opening day happened, and all of this coincided with the move-in day for Vanderbilt University. There was also an event called Vandy Palooza. I had trouble finding things online from that time, although I found one photo from the event taken that weekend. So the question remains, who was she? This one was 2018, and there's a good chance of identifying her because of this. Her peers would likely be in their 20s to early 30s today. Obviously, she had a family and friends at one point, and it's possible she went missing from another state. If anyone has any ideas who she may have been, please call the number on the screen. Vandy Doe has gone unidentified for 5 years. Huge thanks for watching all the way to the end, and a big thanks to all of you who consistently like and comment on the videos. Whether you leave a full comment or an emoji, it makes a huge difference. So if you consistently watch my videos, maybe take a moment to subscribe. It's a huge push toward the videos being suggested to new people. The next goal is 20,000. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other.